Hello, it's David Allen and you are watching Sporting Icons.
Now, as predicted earlier on in my earlier video where I said that after the press conference, we're probably going to be talking about Sam Jones, the manager of Joe Joyce, because it was him in the press conference that was pretty much being the antagonist in this whole setup. He was the one going at Daniel Dubois. Now, it was pretty evident that the tables were split. Now, John Rawlin, listen, he didn't say too much, and I think that's probably better for it. But Frank Warren, he was on the side of Daniel Dubois. Obviously, Sam Jones is on the side of Joe Joyce. So Frank Warren, he's not being impartial in this one. He wants and he believes Daniel Dubois is going to knock out Joe Joyce. Now, Sam Jones, he did make some pretty funny, witty comments, as he usually does. I mean, Sam, isn't he? Where he said that Daniel Dubois got kidnapped from the amateurs by Frank Warren. Listen, it's funny because it's true. But there's plenty of things like that. And he was saying that Daniel Dubois, he's definitely going to lose his fight. He's going to get knocked out. He's not on the same level as Joe Joyce. And, if he wants, he'll take him out for a steak afterwards and he'll help talk him through a comeback strategy, all that kind of thing. So Sam Jones, he done quite well. Joe Joyce in himself was actually quite verbal in this one. He was actually speaking up quite a lot, and it was very good to see. Daniel Dubois was also speaking up quite a bit. Now, these guys are pretty much saying how they're going to knock each other out. They were agreeing that this fight isn't going to go the distance. There's going to be a knockout. And I think that's probably the consensus for a lot of people, that most people believe that this fight, there's going to be a knockout one way or the other. Now, I suppose the only kind of advice that I'll probably give like a Joe Joyce, because again, Joe Joyce, he's left Adam Booth, or Adam Booth kicked him out. I have no idea which one it is. I'm presuming that Adam Booth let him go because, it's quite difficult when you're a trainer, and let's be honest here, it's very difficult when you're a trainer, and especially with the pad work, you've got to hold up the pads, and when Joe Joyce is throwing a punch, it takes that long that Adam Booth has to time it correctly. Okay, he's got to put up his pads. Joe Joyce goes to throw a punch. Adam Booth, he puts the pads down, he goes back, has himself a cup of coffee, makes a couple of phone calls, comes back, put the pads back on, lifts them up, and the punch about lands then. So it's going to be pretty frustrating for him. So either way, maybe that's why Adam Booth and Joe Joyce split up. But Joe Joyce, he's going to be going over to America. No idea who with. I mean, maybe he can go back to Abel Sanchez, potentially, I don't know. But Sam Jones, he did say that Adam Booth and Joe Joyce are still on very good speaking terms, which is always good to hear. But I don't know whether or not that's going to be a good move for Joe Joyce, because what you don't want to do is add time zones into your training camp. You don't want to have to factor in jet lag and all that kind of thing as well. Now, Sam Jones, of course, he was mocking Daniel Dubois with his opponents fighting two Ghanaians that he can't even remember the names of, and Fujimoto, who he wouldn't even bring in for a Joe Joyce sparring partner. Hey, you know what, fair argument. But Daniel Dubois, he held his own in this one. Daniel Dubois was going at Joe Joyce, and for whatever reason, Joe Joyce he kept bringing up about the fact that he beat up Daniel Dubois in sparring a few years ago. This is probably about, 5-6 years ago. But of course, Daniel Dubois, he's 17 years old. And Joe Joyce is 26, 27 years old. So it's like a man versus a boy, isn't it, really? So can you read anything into that? Absolutely not. But Joe Joyce, he does have the better amateur pedigree. He's been in there with the top fighters. He's been in there with the Herkovich, the Usyks, the Tony Yokers. Plenty of these top elite fighters. Daniel Dubois hasn't. Daniel Dubois, listen, I've said it time and time again, I don't think Daniel Dubois spent long enough in the amateur setup. I really do. I think Frank Warren, he really wanted a new Anthony Joshua and was worried that maybe Daniel Dubois could go off to the Olympics or the World Championships or whatever else it may be, and then Eddie Hearn gets his claws into him. So Frank Warren jumped, offered him some good money, and turned his head, which is why Sam Jones was saying about how Frank Warren kidnapped him from the amateurs, because it's kind of true. But you know what? This is an interesting fight. I think that both guys did a lot of credit in this one. Of course, with a head-to-head at the end as well, with Daniel Dubois pushing Joe Joyce after Joe Joyce gets into his grill. Again, I like that one. Of course, Sam Jones, of course, he always has to be the last one to comment, saying how Dan Dubois is quite clearly shook. Okay. Listen, fight night is what's going to really tell us. The build-up is interesting. The build-up is just to get eyes and ears onto it. The build-up is to get people to buy the tickets, which are available right now. And also, the build-up is to encourage people to get the pay-per-view. And this press conference helped. I was a little bit nervous about it beforehand when I was saying, I don't want these guys being their usual self at the press conference. Now, we knew Sam Jones was going to do what he was going to do, but I wanted to see Daniel Dubois pipe up a bit like he did against Nathan Gorman. I want to see Joe Joyce be a bit more verbal, and both of them did exactly that. Okay, listen, there was no Haribos flying across the room and bottles of Ribena, but you know what? It is what it is. There's still plenty of time for that. I'm sure these guys will probably start going in on each other on social media. I know Daniel Dubois, he doesn't do his own social media. I think that he actually has someone else doing it for him. So anyway, is what it is. Interesting press conference. I enjoyed it. I found it quite entertaining. Well done to Sam Jones, you know, for playing the role of the knob, as he usually does. So big up to Sam Jones too. Well done to Frank Warren. And of course, well done to John Rawling for actually keeping quiet. Real good stuff. Drop your thoughts below. Click thumbs up, subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.